Hello, friends, and welcome again to the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast with Jay Gordon Duncan. And if you're wondering why the J, the answer is I'm not a bagpipe player. And if that joke doesn't make any sense to you, I encourage you to check out episode 0, where I explain the purpose of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast, where we talk about faith, family, fitness, finances, and sometimes fun. Guys, thanks so much for being here. If you are watching, I'm wonderfully again joined by the CACS community. They are a faith-based mastermind and community online, and we gather each week to talk about issues of creativity and marketing. We're joined in this group by authors, editors, publishers, illustrators, and if you're ever interested, reach out to me. I would love for you to join us Thursdays at 11 Eastern Standard Time. But today, again, as always, thank you so much for listening last week. And I've got a topic that came by request. And it's a topic I'm incredibly passionate about. It's actually a topic I'm fairly annoying about if you know me in person. So I'm always excited to talk about something in which I'm annoyed, where at least I get to annoy other people. And the topic is procrastination. And how do we avoid it? What do we do with it? I do know a few people in this world that actually praise their own procrastination. I do. I know a couple of people because they feel like the urgency of when they do it actually causes them to create their best work. I would say that's possible, but I'm not going to buy that anymore. Maybe I bought it in college when your friend would stay up all night and finally write a paper at 2 and say it was the best thing. But I don't think it's the best approach. I really don't. Especially when you're either trying to write a book or when you're trying to market or when you're trying to create things on social media. Putting things off to the last moment can't always guarantee your best work because all you have is that one moment. And you can't guarantee that that one moment is your best work. So if you're not procrastinating, what you're doing is you're creating schedules and discipline. And listen, the bottom line, guys, I hate to say it, is the only cure for procrastination is discipline. And you might say, well, if I had discipline, I wouldn't procrastinate. And you're 100% right. It is a circular argument. Discipline cures procrastination, but procrastination is the opposite of discipline. But I want to get you there. I want to give you, as always, 3 steps. My old Southern Baptist minister father would be proud of me for 3 steps, but I did not have time to make them all begin with the same letter. So I'm sorry there. But I do think if you do these things, it's going to help you. Now, there are areas in my life in which I am amazingly disciplined and I do not procrastinate. And then there are areas, to the chagrin of other people in my life, where I am not. So if you give me a stack of stuff that came in the mail that I'm supposed to respond to, not getting on it like right away. I just procrastinate until the last moment. I don't know what it is that I don't enjoy. But if you ask me to prepare for running and prepare for a marathon, or if you ask me to write, or if you ask me to create things for capitalized marketing, I've got those things scheduled out. But like you, I have those areas of my life where I just can't, I just procrastinate. So I'm not coming to you by any means from an area of perfection, but I am coming to you with some tried and true techniques. And if you do these three things, I promise you, you will be less of a procrastinator. I'm going to have to ask for your forgiveness ahead of time. Watching and listening, you are going to hear me talk about running, because it is probably the area of my life where I am close to being the most disciplined as possible. But I will do my best to give you guys some examples that will apply to you no matter what. So here we go. My 3 tips and strategies to help you avoid procrastination. Number 1, I encourage you to define your goal as specifically as possible. Define your goal as specifically as possible. And here's why. If you say, I need to create some social media for marketing, or if you say, I really need to write, or I really need to fill in the blank, there's nothing definite about that. It's just something out there that you want to do. So there's no direction. You don't have any direction whatsoever. You're kind of waiting for a whim, or you're waiting for inspiration to strike, or you're waiting where you've got a good cup of coffee, or when you're just boxed into a corner, you don't have any choice. And you know what? We produce in those circumstances. We do. But when your goals are so specific, you begin to have direction. We've talked many times before in the CACS community about authors who produce a lot of books. When you talk about the John Grishams or the James Pattersons or the Stephen Kings, those authors have a page count. They have a word count, and they have it set daily. Various reports will say Stephen King will 5 days a week write 6 to 8 pages a day. And he doesn't stop. He goes in, he writes 6 to 8 pages a day. And if he gets done early, he can end early. If he wants to keep going, he can keep going. But typically that's his discipline. For the people I know who create tons of marketing content, that's the world I have to live in, you have to set out a daily schedule. You have to. Like today, like I know every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I know how many pieces of content I have to create for me and to support my clients. And I have to do that. I've got it written down. I know exactly what you got to do. I know what it is. But I would encourage your goals to go even further than that. Not just, I want to do this thing, but write down the result of the goal. The result of the goal. Not just that I want to do this thing, I want to do this thing so it accomplishes this other purpose. So, for example, when I know that I have a goal for creating marketing content, it's attached to a goal of how much revenue I want the company to make. Or if you have a goal of writing, attach it to a date when you want that book or that product to be available. If you're a coach and you're creating content for that, and you're like, I've got to create 8 pieces of content for my marketing company so that I can gain 3 clients this month. Don't make it just the goal of the product, make a result attached to it. Because then you realize, why, what I really want is not the 8 pieces of content. What I really want is not 8 pages. What I really want is to sell 25 books or to gain 3 clients or to make this much money. Whenever you make your goals specific with a result, it's got something attached to it. It's got teeth. It's got consequence. Because if you don't do the thing, you don't get the result. And when you're that specific, all of a sudden, you're going to find you become more and more specific in more and more areas. So again, running, I will attach it to it. My goal this Saturday, I don't know when you're listening to this, but November 11th, I'm running the Richmond Marathon. This has been a goal in practice for 12 weeks. I know how fast I want to run. I want to know the pace I want to run. If that was my goal, wouldn't have been enough. I had to go to, what am I going to do 6 days a week? What am I running on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and Saturdays? Like the whole process had to be written down, knowing exactly what I wanted to get the result of how fast I want to run. Will I do it? Don't know, but I'm going in amazingly prepared because the whole process was written down. I can't escape it when I've got it. And yes, I encourage you to write that down. We'll talk about writing later in another goal. So another point. Right now, make your goals as specific as possible and attach a result to it. Some of you start with the result. What I'd like to do is sell 25 books. Okay, then walk it backwards. What are the goals that I have to accomplish to get to that point? So number 1, you got to make those goals as specific as possible. Number 2, here's the one that's going to help you. Number 2, you have to eliminate every obstacle to accomplish that goal. You have to eliminate every obstacle possible, every obstacle possible. Because your obstacle might be a person. You may not be able to you may not be able to do that, but you got to eliminate every obstacle. So again, let me talk about running. If I don't run in the morning, it's not going to happen. Busy life, my wife, my kids, clients, evening activities. More than likely, if I don't go running between 5 and 5:30, it doesn't happen. Okay, so then what obstacles stand in the way? Well, I got to wake up. So I typically wake up on my own anyway, but I set the alarm. At the bottom of my stairs, the night before, I place what I'm going to wear. I look at the weather. I'm like, okay, I need long sleeves. I need shorts. I need calf sleeves. I want this pair of shoes. I mean, every single thing. I also have to charge my watch. I have to charge my headphones. If I can, I pick out what I'm going to wear. what I'm going to listen to. And I even get the coffee ready so that when I walk downstairs, I smell the coffee, the clothes are there, there's no obstacle. If I don't do this, is what's happened. I would walk downstairs, I'm like, it's cold outside. I didn't get my long sleeves. My long sleeves are upstairs. I don't want to wake Amy up. I need to make a cup of coffee. My headphones are not charged. I can't run without music. And all of a sudden, what happens? Every obstacle. Can I overcome all those? It's going to be hard. But what I've done is I eliminate obstacles. Here's what happened. When you eliminate the obstacles to procrastination, you actually eliminate the excuses. If you have a tendency to procrastinate, because if I say, I'm going to procrastinate, I'll do it at 2, that's going to be really hard. Maybe, because you know what? I own a business. If I have a potential client saying, hey, can we meet at 2? I'm not going to say, I need to run. I'm going to have to meet with the potential client. If you eliminate the obstacles, you eliminate the chance for procrastination. Now, for what you do, whatever your area is, you've got to think through, what are the excuses that I give? Because your excuses lead to procrastination. If you can eliminate the excuses, you're left with the task itself. And you may not get this right the first time, but if you say, I am going to write 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I am going to create content 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I am going to make sales calls. Okay, what might get in the way? Well, then eliminate it. Eliminate the obstacles. If you're like, I get too many texts and phone calls, tell everybody you know, I'm turning my phone off between 9 and 10. You know who texts and calls you. You can do emergencies, but just tell them, don't bother me between 9 and 10 unless it's just an absolute emergency. And so eliminate the obstacles, avoid procrastination. So number 1, make your goals as specific as possible, including the results. Number 2, eliminate the obstacles. And number 3, I alluded to this earlier, write them down every single day. Make it part of your discipline. If you have a spiritual practice, make it part of your spiritual practice. Write it down every single day. You get up in the morning, today I'm going to write 6 pages. Today, I'm going to run 7 miles. Today, I'm going to make 15 sales calls. Today, I'm going to post 8 pieces of social media content. And guys, if you don't do it in the morning, it's going to escape you. I'm just telling you, it will. You want to make it part of your discipline. If you have a spiritual practice of prayer or of study, that's when you do it. If you don't have those things, what you want to do is you want to make sure it's done before you leave the house. But you've got to write it down specifically. Today, I'm going to do this thing. Today, I'm going to write. Today, I'm going to take a step towards making this much money. Today, I'm going to make this many phone calls. Today, I'm going to run this much, and make it specific. If you do it every day, you're eventually going to do it. You'll get tired of yourself if you write it every day and don't actually keep that promise. You'll get frustrated with yourself. You either quit writing it down or you eventually start doing the thing. Those 3 disciplines will help you avoid procrastination. And we all know it's easy to get started. It's even easier to quit. But if you do it consistently, it'll become part of who you are. It'll become just the way you do it. The people around you will begin to make room for those things. They will know, don't mess with Gordon at that time. Don't ask Gordon to do anything at this time. They'll just know. Or they'll say, I know there's a conflict here. Is there any way possible? It'll just become part of what you do. And it's possible for us to hit goals we've never managed and create more than we've ever managed and write more than we've ever managed. Our capacity is massive and untapped. This is the step. When folks will say, I don't know how you do that much. I don't know how many publish that books or produce that much content or run that much. It's just part of the discipline. And that's true for every single person. They've just given up procrastination in that area. We all still have it. Impossible to be 100% efficient in every area. But the ones that we're just tired of skipping out on, these 3 steps: define your goals specifically with a result, remove all the obstacles, and write them down daily. If you can, write them in the morning, write them in the evening, but once a day at least. So guys, that's my 3 tips. The areas of my life I've been able to implement that, I've been able to have tremendous success and tremendous progress. The areas I have not implemented in, I'm still working on. But writing those goals down, removing obstacles, and establish your goals, remove obstacles, and write them down will help you begin to avoid procrastination. Give it a shot for 3 days. Don't take on too big. Like, I'm gonna do this for 3 days and see how it goes. Do 3 days, you can probably do it. It'll become a habit daily. So again, guys, always thanks for tuning in and listening. If you are watching, thanks all the CACS community. If you'd like to find out more, message me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm everywhere, and I'll make sure you get a visit. And as always, I look forward to talking to you again next week. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.